Oh, let me pause this really quick. Hello. I wanted to share something very special with you. I'm on my not so fancy camera because I can do this. Check who decided to show up today and play mascot and be my little pair programmer buddy. It's Nugget. Yay. That's pretty great. Excited about that, but he's not going to make another appearance, at least not for a little while. So let's get back to the nice camera. And we can look at our project. Okay, let's get some music on though, because what do I want? Maybe this. What's this? Am I feeling that? About electronic today. Oh, all right, upbeat, I guess. That's what we're going for. All right, let's code to this. This is not the project that we're looking at. Good thing I didn't show anything that I am not allowed to show. Cool. So where were we? This is our code. This is our project. I'm going to bring up my dev tools. It's a little bit small, so we're going to make sure to bump that up. Nice and readable. Yeah, and where we left yesterday is we got our project laid out a little bit different with how I'm going to do that the whole song with this are coming in. So right now there's nothing discernibly different about them. But as we type, we can say, as we type, we see that our guess is going into that first one. And when we submit it, the browser refreshes, it checks on the score on the back end and tells us if it's good. And then next guess goes on the next row. Cool. So one thing I want to do is I want to stop showing the current guess here because we don't need that anymore. Oh no, I didn't push my last changes up apparently. So let's just push that as, I don't even know. Yo, what up? Web Dev Journey, Ben D. Myers. Glad to have you guys back. I'm just getting going, so I haven't missed much. Well, hey, it's me. Hey, Austin Gill. How you guys feeling the upbeat music today? I just said sup y'all in the chat, and I realized it ends with an exclamation, and now I'm embarrassed because it should have ended with a question mark. What a silly thing to be embarrassed about. Okay, so where were we? Or what did we do yesterday? We kind of got, I don't know, yesterday's work. I don't want to spend too much time thinking about commit messages. I do want to make sure that this code is available for people that are interested as we go. So there you go. That should be on my GitHub. GitHub.com/AustinGill/Worldle. And let's see. Right. What I want to do, I want to fix this problem that I'm having with using arrays everywhere, because that was actually a mistake. I want my guesses can remain originally as an array, but I don't want to be pushing array of letters to that. I basically, instead of using a two-dimensional array, I want to use just strings, and then as we loop over each letter, we can just split at that point. That's going to make a lot of things a lot easier. So the remaining guesses is going to be still an array, which is fine. Remaining guesses should still be an array. Current guess is a string. Previous guesses is an array of strings. Remaining guesses is an array of undefined. Cool. That looks good. Handle change. So instead of this being a new array, I think we can actually update this. Since we're only dealing with strings now, we can handle the change and just set the current guess to the event target value, which should be a 5-letter string. I also realized, let's see, we may want to do some validation here. To validate the length, because this runs on change, not on submit. And so no. Sorry, we don't need to validate the length here. This is fine. This updates our guess, our current guess, and then on submit, we let the backend handle the validation stuff. So that should still be good. Now we need to do update our mapping logic. So here we're going to have an array of strings now. So this should be a string. I should probably add, it would be kind of cool to add my type definitions here. So we have a little bit, what was that? We have a little bit better stuff to work with. Yeah, that's loader data. And I think that this may be something where I can say string array. Nope, don't want to do it. Nope, I guess not. Okay, this type is an array of strings. TypeScript just sure takes a long time to figure that stuff out. And then that's going to be a string. That's a function. Remaining guesses right now, we're using state for remaining guesses. I realize that also may not be necessary. JS docs. Hell yeah. JS docs are great. I like TypeScript. I don't like writing TypeScript. I mean, I guess technically I write TypeScript. I don't like using it in TS files. I think it just adds a lot of noise. So we're going to clean that up. So remaining guesses should still be an array of undefined, 5 undefined items. No, sorry, 6. I don't know. Base generated from the previous guesses. You know what I'm saying. Okay. And now I think each of these guesses is a string, right? Can't map over a string. So we split on that. And then we map. And then the current guess is also a string. So we split on that and map over each letter. And that should split. I think that needs to split on an empty string. And then remaining guesses is already an array of undefined values. Yep. And then we just map over a length of 5. Cool. No, not cool. Current guess.map is not a function. Current guess. Right. I think I fixed that. Current guess.join. Yep. That doesn't, we don't need the join anymore because current guess is now a string. And we have another join. No, we don't. Just taking a really long time to get fixed. Okay. Cool. This looks like it's working so far. Updates are working. I hit submit. Split split doesn't work. Current guest.split. Guest.split. Right. Okay. That's the problem. Last thing is in our root, when we send the data, we are pushing an array of the guest value, and the guest value is now a string. So we don't need this array anymore, and we don't need to deconstruct it. So now we can just push the guest to the guesses array. So need to join my splits later. I don't know exactly which line you're talking about. Oops. So because I split, all of these splits take my string. I don't think I need to join them later because the only reason why we split on these words is just to lay out the letters. But in fact, I want to keep everything as a 5-letter string. So now instead of an array with secondary arrays of 5 letters, we're just dealing with strings now. Cool. So that worked. It looks like we're getting our guest back. We still have the bug where if I send this again, right now I expect this first guest to go here because of the weird thing that Remix doesn't maintain variables in memory every time on each update. But yeah, hope that's clear. Okay, cool. So that's working. Now I want to get into fixing that bug that I literally just described, which is how do we store the data? How do we persist the data across multiple requests? And the remix.run folks recommended cookies. So we're going to look into doing that. Cookies are a pretty good solution as long as we don't need that data to go across multiple browsers on the same device or across multiple devices, because cookies get stored on the browser that they're in. The nice thing about cookies is that they're accessible both on the client side and on the server side. Although in this case, we actually probably don't want to let the cookies be accessible client side, and I'll explain that shortly. So let's get this going. They recommend a file called sessions.js. So inside of app, we'll add a file called sessions.js. And looks like all of this I can copy and paste. And this thing is so annoying. I don't know why it does that. Cool. So the name, I don't know what the convention is around this underscore thing, but I'm going to say that my cookie is going to be guesses. I don't need this documentation stuff. All of this is optional. Don't need a domain. I will need an expiry, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I do want this to be HTTP only. Max age 60. I maybe will want that. I don't remember what max age is. Path, I don't care. Same site. I probably want. What are the options? Strict. That's right. We'll set same site to strict. It's probably not important for here in this instance, but it's basically so that a cookie can't be used across domains. Secrets, I have no idea what secrets are. I don't think we need that. And then secure means that the cookie is only going to work when the connection is encrypted, so sent over HTTPS. I'm going to comment that out because although it's a good practice, in general, web servers or dev servers are not served over HTTPS. And I'm not sure if they account for that in Remix, or if that would even, how that would work. So better not add more problems to our code. So the input output to session storage object are HTTP cookies. And cool, they give me some functions I can use. So in a route, I can do this. In my main route, oops, oh no, annoying, copy. I want to get sessions. That should be from the next file up, which would be where sessions exists. So that's fine. I like to have explicit file extensions. What are you complaining about? All imports in import declaration are unused. Okay, it was just complaining about the double quotes. Okay. Okay, so in my loader is where I'm going to get my data, it looks like. Okay, we have a loader, right? That's where I'm getting my guesses. So naturally, that's where this is going to happen anyway. My session is going to be wait get session from my request headers get cookie. So it's kind of interesting that even though I'm using creating a cookie session, get session here doesn't automatically assume that it's coming from a cookie. I have to explicitly get the cookie header. Okay, so if the session has user ID, I think I'm going to call this guesses. What is wrong with my copy pasting? Copy, paste. If it has the guesses, then I don't know. If it has guesses, here it's saying if you have a user ID, redirect to the home page if they are already signed in. Okay. Otherwise, commit session. This is interesting. I don't think I need that data. Huh. This is interesting. So in their, oh my gosh, copy paste. Come on now. So in their example, this is the data that's being returned and being provided to the route. I want to provide that data. It's going to be just an array, which is what I was returning here. But also in their example, they're modifying headers. It's not super intuitive. Okay. Okay, this is the action, right? So this is when the form is submitted. And then current user in error. Oh, hey, Nugget. What's up? Oh, you're getting uncomfortable? Great. Nugget's here, hanging out, coding with us. Okay, so current user is presumably coming from the data. This part really doesn't make a lot of sense right away. It's a lot of code to take in at once. Create session storage. Create cookie session storage. Well, I think I'm just going to have to figure it out. Okay, so let's start with something a little bit simpler. In the loader, I need to run get session, which I'm calling from my sessions, which should be using the create cookie session to output the function to get the session, which I'm exporting here. Everything good? Everything good. This is what I'm interested in right now. Get session, when the route loads, it's going to call this loader function. And I'm going to await get session from my request, which I believe I need to provide to the loader. Yeah, the loader is going to be provided this request as part of the parameters. This is also now an async function so that we can use await. Okay, cool. Just some formatting stuff. If session has guesses, I'm going to say console log session.get. Session.get returns the value for the given name in this session. Okay, and then here we're going to just still return what we were doing before so that we're not breaking anything. We're just introducing some new functionality so I can check out how these things are going to work. JSON is not defined, I know. Nothing there in the loader. And when the loader runs over here, JSON's not defined. Okay, we're not getting anything, which makes sense because we're also not setting the session. We're just defining it here. Okay. So commit session, right? Let's see what where that's being used. Commit session is committing the session. The session was pulled off of here. This is weird. How do I just call it and then assume that that's going to work? Okay, this is confusing me. Create cookie session storage. Cookies, you can use create cookie session storage. Maybe I need to learn a little bit more about cookies. Okay, the main advantage of cookie session storage is that you don't need any additional backend service or database to use it. That's basically what we're looking for. I don't really want to deal with the database, not yet anyway. It can also be beneficial in some load balance scenarios. However, cookie-based sessions may not exceed the browser's max allowed cookie length, typically 4 kilobytes. That should be fine. Downside is you have to commit session in almost every loader and action. If your loader or action changes the session at all, it must be committed. That means if you session flash in an action and then session get in another, you must commit it for the flashed message to go away. I'm sure that will make sense at some point. So let's look at these cookies. using cookies. Right, we create a cookie. Well, you may create these cookies manually. It's more okay. Okay, so I think what's going on is in my code here, I am not actually creating the cookie. I am just creating the cookie session storage instance. And because I want to instantiate my application with some data, I need to create that cookie. So let's start with that. Create cookie. And I guess I don't think I need this underscore thing. Get rid of that. So let's say, what was it? Max age is 1 week. Okay. Oh, no. That's right. I don't need to create the cookie here. Create cookie session storage does, you can instantiate with a cookie. Doesn't say anything about setting the value of it. And that's not going to tell me the value that I can put a value in there. Okay. Let's leave that as is. Okay, so this is recommending creating things in cookies. So now I've got sessions and cookies, which means this. No. This would come over here. Create cookie. I think this would use these properties, presumably. This could import. No, sorry. Guesses from cookies, and my cookie is going to be my guesses cookie. And you're complaining about something. No, you're fine. I think. Thanks for sticking around. We'll get this working and figured out, and I'll have a good explanation of how it actually works once I get my head wrapped around it. Okay, so this is not great. Not feeling too good about this. I mean, I know technically this is what I want to do, but it feels like there's a remix way of doing things. And it's not particularly clear or cohesive, I guess. Because now it's saying something about JSON. So up until now, I have not been returning JSON in my route loader, right? This is the route loader. This is the thing that's responsible for loading, making data available both on the server side and on the client side. And up until now, I'm just returning an empty array. And that's worked fine. That's where I get my empty array. Great. The thing that I don't understand is in their example, they're returning some JSON, which an empty array can be JSON. And maybe I just, shut my mouth and do things their way, right? And we can try that, I suppose. From Remix, I think I want to put that first. And JSON. I want to return that. This is no longer going to be underscores. I want to return my guesses. I want to see what my session says. Don't need that. And then I have to await commit session on the session for some reason. So let's see what that's going to tell me. Rebuilding, rebuilt. Okay, so here's my session. Has some ID data, has get, set, flash, and unset. And I guess I want to see what my session data is. And that's probably going to return a Boolean. And because I haven't committed any data yet, like, how do I instantiate? If I have my session, can I just instantiate my cookies with some previously stored data? My guess is my cookies doesn't have any data on it. So maybe we say, like, hey, this is always export const. No, what is it? Export guesses. And I want to do guesses dot. How do I set data of a cookie? Yeah, that's what I would think. But that, well, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's a function. Yeah, guesses dot set is not a function, in fact. Right. I need to commit it. Okay, let's go back here. I've got my cookie. And now I want to commit session is, I think, what I do to set data on the session. This is very confusing. Cookie attributes, yeah, create cookie, cookie.serialize. override. None of that is the data about the cookie. Create a cookie is a cookie. Cookie name. Cookie parse. Okay. And here we are again. So far, I haven't seen anything about actually setting data into my cookie. And the strange thing is, I would imagine that the helpers around getting and setting cookies wouldn't need me to explicitly say, hey, set the cookie, please. Or have to, like, I don't know, why do I need to, what is this response thing? Okay, maybe this makes sense because a cookie is unique to a session, and if I instantiate a session with an array, it's like, whose session is that anyway, right? Okay, I guess. But how do I actually set the data of the session? Set session, right? But then, or commit session, but then commit session here looks like it grabs the current session. It literally doesn't do anything with it. And then it sets the session again, or commits the session again. And then down here in the action, it gets the session. And then it flashes some information. But, and then it just commits the session again. I don't know. That's pretty lost on me. What can I do instead to keep this interesting? I think I'm going to have to come back to this one. We're going to call it a day. It's been a long week, and I will not be on tomorrow. Got tomorrow taking a full day off. So let's recap kind of what we went through this week then, shall we? Sessions, no. Cookies, no. Guesses is fine. CSS. I don't think there was anything too interesting there. All right. Well, let's see. So where we are after this week is we are building a Worldle clone with remix.run. And so far we've gotten into some React stuff where we have this form here. And as we type into it, something like heart, we see that our updates are coming across the first row of our Worldle grid. And that's using React's set state. So we instantiate a state with nothing in it for the current guess, and then our input in our form maps to that current guess. And as that input changes, we pass that on change event to the handle change event handler, which uses the set current guess function that we got back from use state. We call that with the event target value, and that's how we are updating the current state, which is then triggers a reload or a re-render of this component, and that's how we get the new state of current guess. When we hit submit, the page refreshes. That data is sent to Remix by means of this form submitting with the post method. One slight difference that we learned in Remix is that when you're going to submit to the root route, you use what are called actions, and it's based on the route that you're in. However, on the root route, you don't define your action in the root route index.jsx file. You define it in the root.jsx file in the app folder. So that's where we define our form action. We grab the request body with the form data, and then we update our guesses and we return that information such that when the page reloads, our data is already there. And our data is being loaded in Remix using this exported loader function. And the important thing to note here is actually all of this stuff we can ignore. We are returning our guesses there. So that's going to be the variable that we updated on the back end. And how do we get that data into our component is we use this use loader data function from Remix, which gives us the data back of our, whatever was returned in this loader function. And this is handy, or this is necessary so that we can get the data both on the server side and on the client side, so it's available. And lastly, we use the previous guesses that we get from the loader state. We use the current guess, and we calculate the remaining number of guesses so that we can generate essentially 3 different sections of the grid. The section of previous guesses, where we do a little bit of logic on whether any of the guesses are, how accurate they are. Next is the current guess, which is always going to be the next row after the previous guesses. And then however many rows remain, we get from the remaining guesses. So if I do my next guess, which is snout, I can see that previous guesses is up there at the top. Current guess is right there in the middle, and it is reactive to my input that I type. And the last couple rows are based on the remainder. So 2 guesses, 6 guesses total minus one previous guess and 1 current guess leaves 4 remaining guesses. And I do find a little bug in there that we're kind of knocking off rows or columns as we type, but that's all right. We'll come back and look into that next week. I hope you had a fun time so far. I know we hit some snags, but you know what? It's working pretty well, and I think we're going to work through it and figure some more cool stuff out. I'm excited to check out the Remix stuff, even though it's a little bit over my head right now. It hasn't quite clicked. Doing stuff with cookies is going to be nice because we don't have to reach for an external data source, and it works both client and server side. So we'll get into that next time. All right, I'll see you.